We're here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, day 2 CyPhaCon. Joined here with Mr. Barry Lowin. How you doing there, Barry?
I'm doing great. I'm back in my hometown, having a good time, and just getting to meet people.
Awesome, awesome. Of course, you did a lot of stuff as well as recently The Mandalorian. How did you get into there's some stuff you did, Circus Soleil and stuff. How did you get into the acting, and what brought you into this and stuff like that?
Yeah, I grew up doing competitive gymnastics, and I went to college for theater and journalism, and so it was just kind of a mashup of so many different skills. And then starting professionally, my first job was Tokyo Disney in Japan, and so a lot of just physical performing and acting along with like regular acting. So I just kept doing kind of more extreme physical acting, and every skill, every costume kind of added a different layer. So over my career, I've had to do a lot of really specific stylized movements very precisely. So that just kind of became a superpower. And then so when something like this came along, it was like, hey, can you do these very specific movements without looking like a robot, so it's just skills that I've learned and built up over a whole career.
Right, and we talked earlier during your panel earlier about the OLED wall, and it's all this kind of replacing green screen in a lot of ways. Just for the fans, how is it working on that environment? There's a lot of practical elements and all that jazz.
They always use the volume and those screens as could turn into any backdrop, but when it's added with physical props and practical props and sets, it just kind of enhances all of that. But it could really, in seconds, put you in any universe that you want to be in, any part of the world. Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing because even I see it, I know how it works, I see behind it, in front of it, and the people operating, and still when you watch it all happen, it's just kind of like, well, it's just magic. I don't actually know what's happening other than this is some sort of sorcery, yeah.
Speaking of magic, you also work with Yoda or Baby Yoda or Grogu, whatever you want to call them. There are many names. There's multiple versions of that you talked about. Can you tell the fans what a little bit about that? What Cliff Notes version of that?
Sure. I think, two as far as I know. Legacy Effects is the really talented company that used to be a Stan Winston house and is, we're responsible for making Grogu, and so there's an animatronic version of him that is operated by highly skilled, makers and operators, and then there's also a version of him that's not animatronic and
more of like a stand-in or something, for not like he's moving around and walking. So
sure, yeah, for some more static shots. But both versions of him are. You just see him as this real creature and real being. They every hair on his head is hand placed. So there's the elements and the detail that went into making him. He just looks like a real creature, a real living creature.
That's totally awesome. You've done acting, you've done theater, circus type stuff. Is there any words of wisdom or kind of advice you could give people that want to get into stuff at this level, or even just if they're starting?
Yeah, I think you can't wait for things to come to you. You can't just sit around and think something's going to land in your lap. It could. At 1 in a million it happens, but I think always having the right tools for the job, whether you're doing construction or acting or performing, you just have to be prepared so that when the opportunity comes, you've done the work already and you're ready to step right into whatever's being offered to you. And, and just to always, whether you're, I've been humbled many times, but I did when I was trying to jump back into TV and film after doing Cirque for so long. I did student films, I did free projects, I did anything that would just help me, work on my craft and acting and get a reel and just get in any experience you can. I think sometimes people don't, or they underestimate that you can shoot something with your phone, you can work on a play with your friends. If you're wanting to act and make up art and a project, you don't have to wait for it to come to you. You can do it on your own.
Awesome. Well, Barry, I want to thank you so much. So I'm coming to you from CyPhaCon Day 2, Lake Charles, Louisiana, signing off.